sit on the steps. There was like two or three things, and these little people would come out from under the steps and play with me, and I would interact with them. You know, imaginary. You know, just little people would come out from under the step, and I'd sit out there and talk to them, and I can remember that right now. I can remember.
How old were you?
By 4 or 5. And I can still imagine that little thing. And someone said, Pastor, why that ever happened? And I said, I can remember that it did. I remember it probably didn't happen because it was an imaginary thing, but I can remember imagining they came out from under the steps, and they come up on the steps and talk to me and stuff like that. I don't remember anything, but I just remember sitting on the steps, and I had these little people that come out and talk to me. Well, probably there's nobody in the house that talked to me, so.
There were plenty of people in the house.
Yeah. Well, maybe I call Aunt Sue, Daddy Janny would. John was born in Harmony. I knew that. We moved out there. I can remember Mom sitting on the couch in agony. Dad was waiting for Pat or someone to take the kids out of the way so he could take her to the hospital and have the baby.
Oh, good Lord.
You know, but she had, someone to be there to watch the rest of the kids.
Yeah. There was quite a troop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was 49. He did born at 49. I just had a birthday the 10th of February. He would have been.
That's today.
Is that today?
That's today. Today's your dad's birthday?
It's John's.
John's birthday.
John's birthday. He would have been, I think, probably 60.
John is...
He was born at...
71.
Is he? Well... Who am I?
When's your dad's birthday?
Huh?
Is it April?
He was born February 10th, 19...
No, your dad.
His birthday was November the 10th.
November 10th.
Mom was the 11th.
So you got married on your dad's birthday.
And when Mom's birthday was when the end of the World War I, Memorial Day. I mean, they don't call it, what do they call it today? But yeah. She says they were born on the end of the war on my birthday. I can remember that on that November the 10th.
So, wait, what year was Grandma born?
09.
That they ended the war on her birthday.
Yeah, it was.
So she would have been
VJ Day, I think they called it back then, before they gave it an official name.
So she would have been 10 years old. Was it when they ended
World War I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before she ever met her husband.
I would hope so.
Yeah. He was over there with, of course, 14, 15, but time he came back, I don't know how many years it was before he met her. She lived with her aunts in Indianapolis that treated her, worked her as a slave girl in the shops that kids worked. That's back when kids worked for nothing. And they had to take them home. When they got paid, they took it home to Mom, her aunts, because
that was really
died.
Normal.
Yeah, and then she found a job that made more money, and so she didn't tell her aunts, and she made a little bit more money, and they found out about it and took all her money away from her. So she had a rough life. Dad did too.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit more about Grandpa's.
Yeah. My grandpa was, like I said, 14, 15. He was in the infantry, and then sent to France. So not real sure of the age thing though, but I would say between 13 and 15 when he left the church. You know, and went. I don't know how long it took him to travel out to the Missouri. I mean, the Mexican. What do they call it? What river is that? The Mexican River. What is it?
Rio Grande.
Rio Grande, and fought with Pancho Villa, and he was a horse soldier. What do they call him? He had trained on a horse.
Cavalry.
Cavalry. He was in the cavalry there. But when he went to Germany, I don't know what his. I know I got pictures. You've got the pictures, I think, of him, don't you? Of him he was in France. I think he was. It looked like he was 14 years old, but I don't know what he was.
He wasn't much older than 14.
Well, he couldn't have been too much old, 15 maybe. But he was over in France at 15 or 16 or whatever it was.
Good Lord.
He's sitting with his friend who's smoking a cigarette like they were big guys, but they were probably too young to be in the front military stuff. So I never asked him what he did, but he was there. I got 3 or 4 pictures in that group you have.
Mm-hmm.
But he was there, and I remember he looks like a 14-year-old with a cigarette in his mouth. You know.
Goodness.
Can you imagine Adam, 14 years old in France?
No, I can't.
You can't, just imagine. And of course, Bob went into World War One, and he was 16 when he joined. And
you mean World War II?
World War II, yeah. Yeah, World War II, he went in. And he kept going back, and they wouldn't accept him. He was
Bob?
Bob, yeah, because he was only 16.
He was that anxious to go to war?
Yeah, he quit school and everything to join. And we used to
When was he born?
Bob was born in 26.
26.
But they had a newspaper printed that C.R. Brinkman joins the Navy Army Club. I can remember we had that for a long time. I don't know whatever happened to them. They print these things up for the kids to take home to mom,
You've got a lot of papers in there, I'm sure it's there.
Well, I don't
somewhere.
have it in one of those, but that was way back. That would have been close to 19. Well, Bob was born in 37, 40 would have made him what? Close to 20, if that.
And he was, you said, born in 26?
Mm-hmm.
What year did he join?
Well, as soon as he could, so I don't know what year, but we had that paper around for a long time. And back then, when you had a son or anyone in the service, you got a flag to hang in your window, and 1 star meant you had 1 son in the service. 2 stars meant you had 2 sons in the service.
So a star for every son?
Mm-hmm. And I remember hanging in the front window for years.
Because they darn well wouldn't have put a woman out there.
Yeah, but I remember it was hung out there for years. I don't know whatever happened to the flag. And
wow, that would be...
He come home then, you couldn't get a job because all the women got the jobs the men were working at. I remember.
Yeah, they could pay them less.
Yeah, but the women went in
Jerks.
and took up the thing, but Bob got to, one of his first jobs was cleaning wallpaper. Back then we had wallpaper and you could clean it. It had some kind of a solvent, some rubberized stuff that took the sand.
It's what became silly putty.
probably.
No, it is.
It is.
It's what
But
became
I
so
remember
repugnant.
Bob used to do that because at home, of course, I don't know if you remember too much of a house, but there was the living room in the front. That was Phyllis's bedroom. And
Yeah, I remember. I spent a lot of nights there.
Yeah, well, the main room then, the dining room, which we had a round table that was huge. Took about 8 people could sit around it, but that's where the main dinner was served, and there was a pot-bellied stove behind it.
In the living room?
In the middle room, in the main room.
With Granny and Phyllis, I always called that the living room.
Yeah, that was the main room. But when I was a kid, that's what, it was ahead. I remember when I was in high school, and Mother made it. Look, Charlene, Lois, Sider, and I were the 3 musketeers back then. And Mother got some orange flannel, was it flannel? And made round circles complete, and then put a poodle on each one with the thing up to the waistline, So that was the thing, and then to have
the poodles with the leash.
Yeah, with the leash, and she made put poodles on it for all 3 of us.
I thought that was a 50s thing.
Well, I was in.
That would have
been. Graduated in '52. But Mom made this for us.
That was early, yeah.
And we full fledged, like
full
that.
Circle.
It was full circle, and we would wear them to the football games, basketball. We didn't have football, but and I remember one night we had a coal stove in the middle room where Mom, the center, and of course we put coal in it.
A coal room.
It had a coal
stove where?
No, just a stove, big stove with a coal in it. You kept it cooked.
Where was that?
In the center room where Grandma, the main room, the middle room.
Okay, what I remember is the living room.
Yeah, well, when you look upstairs, you saw a register.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, down straight from that,
Oh, wait, that would be the front room.
Now, Phyllis's front bedroom was in the front room.
Yeah, it was the one that had the register that went through.
Phyllis's room, well, both of them did. She let the heat go up, let the heat go upstairs.
I don't remember the register going through.
In the dining room?
In Granny's living room? I don't remember.
Yeah, because that was a long time, because when the kids left the house, we had a round table that seated about like 8 people around without all those kids.
Because out of 14 people, how many people were playing waiter and waitress?
2 at a time. Phyllis and Pat had the thing. Carol and I had the second month, and then, of course, Ann and Sue weren't old enough to do it right away.
Oh my God, that'd have been a pair.
Yeah, and so we had to stay in the kitchen. You cleaned the pots and pans that you cooked with, and any dishes left over. And then you had to do the dishes from the table and wait on the table in case they needed more food and stuff. And then, if you were lucky, you got some what was left over to eat.
Oh gosh.
People think they have it hard today. They don't know what hard is. But we do the dishes, and then the next night, Pat and Phyllis were on the same team. Carol, me, and Ann and Sue. Yeah, but we'd have to do the dishes, and if they we needed some more water, we need more milk, or we'd have to take it into them. And if there was any food left, we got something to eat. And beds, you wouldn't believe this, upstairs in the front bedroom there were 3 double beds.
In the front bedroom?
Front bedroom of the house. Yeah. Hey, we had all those kids. There's 2 and 2, 2, 6, depending on how big you were. And it was so damn cold because back there the windows were single pane. You didn't have double panes, or they were never sealed or anything. You just freeze your butt. So at night we take a a bottle of water and glass, because you wouldn't want plastic, and we put them at the bottom of the bed, so you put the blanket over it, then it would kind of take the hot heat, and after a while you could put your feet on and keep your feet warm. Yeah. And they had no double windows like we have.
Oh no,
Just
of
froze
course
to
not.
death, yeah. So we had those, and then if you had one of the little kids there that peed the bed, you were in trouble.
Oh, good Lord.
But Carol and I finally got the back bedroom. When Steve, Carl went, I don't know where he went, but he didn't have his own bedroom. It was just a place in the hallway. The stairs came up, and there was a
Yeah, I
little
remember
place.
that area in the hallway.
Yeah, and he had a bed there. That's the only thing he had, was his. Was
So
all he
he
had.
could claim a space.
Yeah, that was it. And Carol and I got the back bedroom, and we divided it in two. And she had one side, and I had the other side. And in the middle, there was one closet that went all the way across. That's where we kept winter clothes and stuff like that. We could hang it, hang stuff.
Did they ever put anything up in the attic?
No. I think, I don't know, one of the kids wanted to go up in the attic one time, and he found a couple pair of little baby shoes and stuff. But I don't know whatever happened to them.
It'd be interesting to walk through that house again.
Yeah. But we had the...
If I never see the basement again, that's okay.
No. Hey, I used to do the laundry.
That...
Oh, it's scary.
That brought me nightmares as a child.
Yeah, but I used to do the laundry, and I had to do it down the basement. And I would wash you'd get 2 tubs, you get a tub of hot water, and then you got a rinse and another rinse. And then they had a 4th rinse where something you never know anything about, starching the clothes that had the blouses and skirts that had to be starched.
Oh, yeah, I've starched.
They were in the 4th thing, so you put put starch in that, so you had really 4 things you went by before you hung them up on the line. And when you hung them on the line, the ones that were starched, you had to sprinkle and fold them up and roll them up and put them in a basket that had a lining in them so they wouldn't. And then you had to.
So they wouldn't what?
So they would stay moist, because if you didn't, you couldn't iron them. I don't know. And I know I was the keeper of that laundry. I did most of the laundry. And Dad bought I don't know what it was called. A thing, most people call it a mangle, but it was a thing with a roller on it, and you could press the clothes. And, you had to press the sheets and the pillowcases and everything, because everything was stiff. You had to sprinkle them all and roll them up in a thing and a roll, put them in the basket with a lining in it, and then you take them out and you put them on that and iron them. I even got expert at doing men's shirts, because the collars and stuff. After so long, I could do those. But all the girls' skirts got lined. You had to iron them around, all that. But that was my job. I was the laundress for a long time. But you never heard anything about a flat iron. Have you ever heard of a flat iron?
That's the kind you had to heat up?
On the stove. Yeah. Back then we had a coal stove, and you heated the coal where it was hot. You put the iron on the top. You used the one that was hot, and when it cooled off, you had to flip it off and put it on the other one, and put the other one on the thing to heat, so you could iron. Oh, you people don't know how good you got it.
I think
But
things are good in some ways,
Oh,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and maybe not so good in others.
But on Saturday morning was cleaning the house. Mom and Dad went to grocery. Back then, if you wanted to pay a telephone bill, you had to go to the telephone company. You had to go to the light company. You didn't mail stuff in, and they go that into the grocery, and we had to clean house. We'd start the top, had to change the bedding and all that stuff and throw it down, and clean each room. And I always got down to the kitchen work, but I didn't do it all because I had to clean the outhouse. Take a bucket of hot water and put some bleach in it and stuff, and and scrub the seats of the outhouse, and put new magazines out there.
New magazines.
Yeah, we didn't have toilet
Your
paper.
Charmin?
No, we didn't have.
That's what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
instead of Charmin.
We didn't have toilet paper until the 50s. But I was the youngest. Because I was always outvoted, so I always had to clean the outhouse. But, I mean, it was. Like I talked Eileen once in a while. We talked about those were the good old days. She said, we lived through the best of times and the worst of times, I guess, because. But we did, and we used to hang the clothes on the basement line, dry, and then you let them dry, and then you had to sprinkle them because you had to sprinkle them and moisten them before you could iron them. So today you just put them in there and dry them out and pick them up and put them on the hanger. Oh, that was good. Like Eileen and I talked several times. I said we lived in the best of days. Because both her and I were born in the Depression. We grew up with nothing. And, we went through all the things people owned. The stoves and got furnaces and stuff like that. Double windows so you didn't have to. We never had a double window. They were single windows. And
they didn't
freeze
have
your
them.
ass. You freeze your ass through the window. I remember going to bed, we'd take I don't think it was a gallon job, but a large job. We'd fill it with hot water and put it at the bottom of the bed. And then put a little piece of cloth over it so you could put your feet on it. So you didn't burn them. Keeps your feet warm. And then And then you'd have someone like Janice when she was a little kid and pee in bed. And that's one of the worst things to have in the middle of the night. One of these kids that weren't potty trained.
Before Pampers.
Yeah, before Pampers.
Of course, I don't think I even use those with my kids.
Oh, we used to have they were about this long diapers, and you folded them up.
That's what I had from
Did you have
Melinda.
Yeah.
Not for Adam, but I had those from Melinda.
I think I had them from.
She was so teeny.
Yeah. But
I remember folding them in half and half again, and then folding them in thirds, so I could fit them around because she was so teeny.
Was I remember. Yeah, you were like thirds.
Yeah, she was little.
But and I remember. These kids today don't realize how well they got it. But it's bad, too, with all the plastic they have. They should,
for every good advancement forward,
there's something bad.
There's some good, but...
But I remember that I had the long... I think you had them, too, the long diapers. You folded it. Because you could fold them to fit the child as opposed to some of them, you couldn't, you had fat baby butts, and you had skinny baby butts. But I remember, that's when I bet my first bat, your favorite thing. We lived on 4th Avenue when Adam was born. And I had
You mean
I
Steve?
didn't have a washer, but I had a thing where I could rinse my clothes, so I could clean his diapers out, and I put him in that with a little bleach. But then one morning I went out to clean him and squeezed a bat. I'll never forget that.
Would you reach in to get them?
I was after that you reached in and rinsed them out so you could put them in a washer. And I scratched it in the bat. I'll never. I haven't eaten it. I haven't liked bat since then. But if
What?
well, a bat got into the room and fell into the water. See, so I had
Said bats are one of my favorite animals.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but that's how you did it. You took them to the bathroom and flushed them and flushed all the crap out.
Yeah, I did that because I used.
I guess you had the first part of that, didn't you? But I'll never forget that. I always hated bats after that. Ever squished a dead bat you've had?
No, I never squished a dead bat.
But
Well, it is after.
it's time to go to bed, and you got to get up early. What time?